The state's economy's in shambles. POV, your broke-ass heir sends the Antiquarian on another gold run after spending all the Hamlet gold in the tavern. No riches? Excellent. Good Antiquarian post. Spit out my water, dude. Con 4K. Gave her green eyes. Does she have green eyes? Actually, we can't see her eyes, can we? Oh, Pav, you were in this thread. Did you draw this yourself? If so, then thank you so much for making such a good Antiquarian shitpost. Yo, Pav, one of the best people in the community. Economy so shambled, the Shambler's Altar asked for 2 torches instead of 1. We dismiss as a fever dream, if not for the invoices. That is highly underrated. Yeah, I'm out of this thread. That name had a homophobic slur and Reddit didn't get rid of it. I can't show that video now. Let's like edit that part out. No death, dark blood moon run seems incredibly unfair. That's an understatement. So this is Torchless that they're talking about. Everyone, I've been attempting to do a no death dark blood moon run for the past few months. The first I've been able to get to is champion level dungeons. What really destroys my morale is the early game. I must have beaten the first 2 levels hundreds of times already. All it takes 1 or 2 crits and a badly placed dot and the run is over, and I feel like I can only affect so much. It seems so incredibly RNG dependent that I'm at the point where I haven't been able to stabilize my run for at least 20 tries. Morale's at an all-time low and I want to give up after every reset. Have you guys been able to complete this run? What was your experience and do you have any tips? This run has only been completed by a very small number of people. RNG is the main problem in DD, who would have thought? Exactly. Torchless Blood Moon is just garbage. There was some really smart dude on YouTube that said something about it. I think his name was Shuffle FM, and he made a really good video explaining why Torchless is a garbage game mode that shouldn't be taken seriously. I think someone actually did that. Torchless in DD2 so stupid. Oh, DD1, yeah. Is that the point of doing a run like that? To have it be unfair? Yeah. When I critiqued it, I talked about some of the design choices that were really bad, but also I was really calling out the community for just like praising Torchless as like the thing to define skill, and it's not. What you call bad game design is what I call difficulty. That's what it comes down to. That's what people actually start arguing for, though. Torchless is the backstab meta of DD. Beat Torchless, Blood Moon, no death, all boss under 10 weeks, your first try, you simply cheated. The Scrubbish, not including Goldless. Do the exact same thing for Infernal. What are you talking about? I don't think the Infernal difficulty drop is, or difficulty bump is as bad as DD1 Torchless. Infernal in DD1, like they get the speed, they get crit, they get resists, and like it kind of ends there besides the negative banter. Yeah, so let's see what some of these tips are. There's a reason the death limit isn't 0, it was increased to 16 for Blood Moon specifically. Deathless is expected to be impractical and unlikely even when a player is doing everything right. So the reason the death limit went up for Blood Moon was actually because of Crimson Court taking so many weeks to complete. Stygian is still 12 weeks. It's balanced around being 12 weeks. You're given 16 weeks and, oh, the death limit. The death limit. Not the time limit. The death limit. So even then, it's still the same reason. It's because of Crimson Court. It's not because of, like I guess they said Blood Moon specifically, but it's not. Crimson Court actually makes Torchless easier. Yeah, Torchless is garbage. Long story short, you're right. After some runs, I kind of gave up on the no death part for now, but even those runs failed because too many champs have died. Recommend actually pushing through to the death limit in your runs because, like you said, the early game is the shakiest once you're on your feet. It's possible to just roll the rest of the game and never lose another guy. In Torchless, not so much. If Shambler didn't exist, then sure. So Torchless, like getting through the early game and surviving, you can usually roll up to like veteran / champion pretty okay. Once you get to champion though, it's about dodging Shambler. Shambler just gets harder and harder. Yeah. Shambler gets harder as the run goes on, and then the chance to get Shambler goes up as the run goes too. I just called the Shambler when you never seen him shamble. Tip 1, scouting is king. Tip 2, scouting is queen. Tip 3, stuns rule the streets. Yo. True. You're correct. The first 10 weeks of the hardest part of the run, you need to get scouting trinkets ASAP. There's a lot of RNG on what heroes you get. Nothing you can do about that. Tip 0, accuracy is the Pope. Yeah. Hell's Hairpin is balanced by it compelling you to play in a suboptimal environment. Still very strong. Hell's Hairpin a little busted. What's worse, Shambler or Fnatic? Fnatic. Chat agrees. Shambler has a consistent game plan. Fnatic can just outplay you at any time. You're like, yeah, I brought my Pagan's Talisman. Then Fnatic goes, that's nice, and he scoops your damage dealer. Like, if you have a plan to deal with the clappers, and you survive the opening shuffle, Shambler is somewhat consistent outside of some high rolling. Rock 2, Think from the Start sucks. Also not sure about my roster. I don't use Abomination, Leper, or Antiquarian ever. This is your issue. You need Leper, bro. Leper, very good on Torchless. And for anyone that's like, what? Leper gets shuffled to back. Leper bad. People stand by Vestal. Vestal gets shuffled to front. Vestal bad. But you still run her. Meanwhile, Leper has the HP to actually tank Torchless, and he has a self heal and stress heal. And the ability to stall and help you stall with Intimidate. Leper is very strong in Torchless. Could just be a skill issue if you don't play him correctly. Usually keep about 2-3 Houndmasters, same with Bounty Hunters, about 4 Vestals, 2-3 Cultists, 2-3 Plague Doctors, or 2 Plague Doctors, 3-4 Hellions, 1 Crusader, 1 Arbalest, 1 Highwayman, Shield Maiden, 1 Grave Robber, and 1 Flagellant. What do you think? What about Man-at-Arms? You should always have a Man-at-Arms. You should have 1 Man-at-Arms in your roster for like every game. Fnatic would be an okay boss if he didn't have 3 turns, the prop buff, the blight resist, and tons of damage. He just has everything. Only 2 PDs. I know, imagine playing Torchless with 2 PDs, not like 4. No one gave them the actual advice, which is to avoid champ dungeons and level people up on the court. Yeah. Like, if you just want to clear, just stay in the courtyard. Imagine playing Torchless. Torchless is garbage. Like, I wish I beat Torchless Deathless, because I would still call it garbage, but no one could say my opinion doesn't matter. Oh, Kreen, what's up, Kreen? I know, Kreen. Game isn't built for you to play the game and have no deaths. I swear the game keeps track how long it's been since you had a workplace accident. The game is designed for people to die. You call it garbage? Also, garbage is delicious. Thank you, Thick. With Darkest Dungeon, though, if you know what you're doing, you can still beat the game deathless and like regular play. Like, the skill ceiling for that isn't too out of reach for most people. Game keeps track of your DBR chances. It feels that way. Thick Eagles Trash Man confirms. Beaten Champion Shambler multiple times, but had the luxury to choose when to fight him. Fnatic almost kills 3 people and had to abandon the mission. Yeah, you don't get to pick Fnatic. You just do your best to avoid him. Okay, I updated this preemptively, but this is Thick. Because, you know, the community doesn't recognize this crap enough. So, 2-man Torchless. I'll be keeping this short because I already spent time writing detailed posts about it before my laptop froze and the post went poof. How did your laptop freeze on the post and not playing the game? So Hero Soul 1, who originally started this and whose challenge runs have been an inspiration to Thick. That's good. Look at all these frontliners, because you have to use frontliners, right? To start, the only reason this is even possible is because enemies can't call for reinforcements when there's only 2 people in your party. This means that once you eliminate the big threats, you're free to stall for however as needed. Or at least how long the game will allow until the Bone Courtier starts landing 7 crits in a row. Not to say getting to the point where you can stall is anything easy, though. You're taking so many incoming actions from the enemies that yours do very little by comparison. It's because of this, characters like Leper, Abomination, and Crusader later on, because Crusader scales very well in the late game. Crusader doesn't scale too well early. He's just kind of a bruiser early game, but he scales into a fantastic support unit. We're pretty much the only people being used, as they could somewhat weather the storm and recover later. I see 1 Man-at-Arms. Is that just for, like, riposte? What are these? You got the Ringmaster swag? Prioritize prot and accuracy trinkets. Even max out the Nomad Wagon to have better chance at getting heavy boots and mooncloaks. I think Thick told me this when he was going to do it. Said something like, I'm going to commit heresy and max out the Nomad Wagon. Though early on, you can't really complain over whatever you're given to work with. Oh yeah, and stun resist is good for spiders, who have probably led to the most deaths. Spiders, again, being dangerous. That and just getting stunned in general is super detrimental when the enemies have 4 actions on you. If you have 4 infected, you get Fnatic. It's like 75% chance. Or Dismas is secretly in love with PD. Using lunge here to one-shot TFTS past the threshold. Oh. Watch Thick's videos, and the spider moments were some of the most depressing ones. How do spiders stun? Never mind. Oh. Yeah, the webs. But it's just annoying when it happens. Trek 2, best Trek film. Oh my god. Had literal first combat encounter Fnatic in a dungeon once, so it was not a good time. Skill issue. Shambino. This is a veteran Shambino. These Mooncloaks, dude. Mooncloak is pretty good. Ran into 4 Shamblers and killed 3 of them. Avoided bosses for the most part, apart from Baron. Also stayed in ruins for the longest time because the enemies They are more position dependent, but later opened up the wield once I got enough prot trinkets for leper to kite the fungal scratchers with withstand. That's pretty smart. Did the last bit of leveling in the courtyard and fully leveled man-at-arms there. My original plan for DD4 was to run double grave robber, but she went to crusader man-at-arms. Thick, not closing with best girl. Feels bad. Run concluded with 99 weeks and 11 deaths. Final level teams were DD1, A-Bomb with Moon Cloak and Heavy Boots, the Tims. Tims on everyone, dude. Double Leper for DD2. Hardest level in the game. Leper sucks because Leper missed, Leper bad. Took 2 lepers to the hardest mission in the game. You tried? I respect it. Took 2 lepers to the hardest mission in the game. I never want to hear leper bad again. I'm the only one that uses full damage and speed trinkets. In Torchless, you can't get away with that. You have to survive and then heal afterwards. If you're playing regular or whatever and have like 4 units and stuff like that, sure, you can just bulldoze everything. But in Torchless, you need more utility stuff or defensive, because you have to survive. Leper only Torchless would no joke be easier than this. I believe it. Leper can't be out of position if there are no other positions. Yes. Leper bad in position 4, Vessel bad in position 1. Stan Leper here. We do. Our king, we stan. Leper back has missed. Yep. Overture box. You. Oh my god. How happy were you to see that? I would have been ecstatic. Commander's orders. Dude, Commander's orders I feel is slept on. I like Commander's orders a lot. And camo cloak. So we have the dodge strat reposted down. This is the strat Thick taught me. Except he had me use a flagellant. Double Leper DD2 is video 10 in the playlist. I'll have to watch it at some point. Thick, I know you hate React content, but could I watch that video? Although my whole viewer run series is React content. Got the box and lost it almost instantly along with the focus ring. Oh no. Leper bad because other heroes get in his way. Overall, this was super interesting because of the sheer lack of control I had over the situation. Sometimes now absolutely powerless. It made me feel when something went extremely bad. For anyone who wants to try it for themselves, you can either use backer heroes or do what I did in past weeks by sending Dismiss into the DD so you get enough lepers and A-bombs to get through the ruins. Oh my goodness. Dismiss the true martyr in this run. It's the way Chris Barassa wanted it. Dungeon was fine until double Templar. Yep, I believe it. Okay, this is a fun one. The literacy heroes, or the literacy of heroes. This is a tier list. So university education, plague doctor, and occultist both have university education in their backstory. Monastic education. Abomination, would he get taught? He looked like a prisoner. But maybe he was there. But for those of you who don't know, a little history lesson, going to the monastery, like joining faith and stuff like that, this was actually something people did back in those times to learn how to read. A-Bomb has an irrational bark where he says, "Mother, are we off to the monastery?" Oh, okay. Oh my god. It's got a little crack in the visor. Please tell me this is like not an attack. I want this to be the interaction thing. This is probably it though. What's your favorite imposter color? Chat, you like red? A-Bomb's barks during afflictions indicate he has some kind of education. Okay. A-Bomb is absolution, true. And Flagellant being monastic too. Flagellant's on here, he's just somewhere else, but he could be. Monasteries did teach you how to read back then because you had to be able to read like scripture and stuff like that. So if you wanted to learn how to read, this is actually a good way to do it. Aristocratic education. I don't know if Audrey just like married into money or she's always been an aristocrat. I'm not sure. I could see both. Leper being a king, of course he's educated. He's faith. He's a faith character, so. Writes plans and paperwork, roadmap, or reads maps and combat treatises, confirmed literate, especially Houndmaster, because he gathers evidence, like a folder or whatever, like a file of evidence. And Bounty Hunter has to be able to read his contracts. The Man-at-Arms, I mean, he's a sergeant or whatever, so I'd assume he can read. He's from a wealthy family? Okay. You know what a specialization is? Not yet. I'm assuming it means starting mastery. Let's say something about Grave Robber's lineage, pre-marriage background, and her... Oh, don't they say something? They might. Like, I'm not the lore expert. There are things I forget. Pretty sure the Miskatonic Memorialist had a video about A-Bomb where he explained the theory about him being an actual heir to the throne in disgrace. Writes her own journal. Her writing is graceful and eloquent, confirmed literate. What is this, like calligraphy? I would not be surprised. But yeah, she writes her own stuff. Talks eloquently, reads books, confirmed literates. Comes from the upper class, can read iodine on a label, confirmed literate. What is this in reference to? Is this like an item she picks up or uses? Or camp skill, potentially? Probably knows how to read musical notes, probably literates. Is a radical monk, recites sacred verses, probably literate. Orphan girl turned globetrotting mercenary, has good medical knowledge, probably literate. Dismiss, comes from the low life of society, probably illiterate. Confirmed illiterate, is learning how to read at the moment. This is from DD2. When you go to like the academics thing, one of Hellions' barks is, I'm going to practice my letters or something like that. An item in Butcher's Circus? Oh. I read the entire DD lore each day? No. Call myself a fan, I'm a fake fan. These books when you've got rats to eat. Audrey's already wealthy, but married into more wealth? Okay. Line has an unused line for hobby skill where she also says she's learning to read. Okay. Ever being patient, teaching Hellion to read and write is a cute thought? Yeah. And she still stresses out when the aqueduct blueprints are burning. Everyone gets mad about that. Some of the comments pointed out that Dismas actually quotes Alice in Wonderland when he gets afflicted, so Dismas is probably literate. Why read when you can have a huge axe? Can Houndmaster's dog read? Probably not. I think science has proven that most dogs can't read. Leper's blind. He already writes poetry, though. Okay, it's the first comment here. Iron Man does have a reference to Alice in Wonderland in one of his barks. Maybe someone read the book to him. This could just be a reference. Maybe he watched the movie. Doesn't Crusader's comic imply that he's peasant conscript rather than well-educated noble knight? He studies holy verses and 3 of his trinkets are scrolls. Yes, true. Crusader means absolutely nothing literacy-wise. But his orders and stuff are written, so he should be able to read. Audrey, hey Amani, can you lend me a hand to keep an eye out for anything on this list while you guys are in the cove? I'd ask Boo, but we both know she can't read. Oh, Boudica. Standing right there, at least I can read the effing room. Dogs don't need to read, that's why they have us, true. Does Leper need Braille to read? I don't know, actually. His poetry's like written out in ink, so... Is Leper actually blind? He's going blind. Because of the leprosy. Still swings hella hard, though. There are a lot of references in the game to other media, especially in Affliction Barks. This is a stage where the nerves are starting to shut down. A-bomb when abusive. Thugs, I doubt any of you could even read letters. Okay, damn. Damn, that is definitive. Did he write his own will? Or do you have someone else write it for him? I don't know, actually. Just joking about his low accuracy, but I don't know if he's canonically blind. Leprosy damages your eyes, from what I understand, so... Probably losing his vision. How is this fair? I went to Champion Wield. I got crit by Tree Branch Smackdown from full to 0. Then he uses Spores next round. I died at that death blow check. How is that fair? What the hell is the RNG on that one? A crit followed by a failed death blow? So what's missing from this is the 2 to 5 turns or whatever you got in between this happening. Skill issue? This is a skill issue, actually. Because Giant isn't a fast enemy. So Giant goes near the end of the round, crits you. The way Giant kills you normally is like, it spores you first and then tree branches you after. Oops. And so when it tree branches you afterwards, it crits you and then you have a dot and you can't do anything about it because it's your turn coming up. It happened in BS ways, but 99% skill issue, usually. If it's tree branch first, spores second, that is 100% skill issue. It absolutely rolled by speed. I mean, that, I guess... Isn't Giant slow as hell? It is. Philosophical Hobbit, friend of the show, who probably doesn't know I exist. Actually, I think they do know I exist, but I love reading their posts. Giants can kind of just do that, but yeah. If they ever get a chance to tree branch and there's something else able to take actions on the enemy side, they'll have the possibility of killing some of your heroes without giving you a chance to respond. Certainly not pleasant getting blindsided, but there's tons of cases where the game can kill you if you don't have the right knowledge. So, you know, Giants can't be allowed to use Tree Branch. So you bring counters to it, frontline guards, stuns. It's not really fair in that it can kill you if you don't know something, but most of the game is sort of unfair. Doesn't mean there aren't counters to it. I mean, this is right. I was aware of how mortal the Giant is. What? Have my cultist spam weakening curse on it. Why wasn't your cultist healing? Also have man arms use guard. I just guarded the wrong hero. Okay, I've done this. And I had to use the heal, or use heal so my cultist stopped the spam. So how'd it kill you? Giant's supposed to be slow, I don't know how it acted first. Okay, so it killed him with a back-to-back. Nyx converted you to the wheeled leper grind set. Just a lot of the context for what happened. I guess he got back-to-backed. I rolled 0, maybe. But it sounds like the giant, if the giant high rolled speed, then it was crit tree branch into spores first. Wait, you roll speed? Yeah. Didn't guard the other frontliner. It was the gateway to someone getting killed. This plus not having multiple sources of healing. Stars had to do a line for that to happen. I suspected this. Remember, I was at full HP, crit to 0, but then he acted before I did. So yeah, he got back-to-backed. Unfortunate. You just had to fight 4 shamblers in 3 runs and have your resolve checked IRL. After 3 consecutively and deliberately ruined runs, I have a question. Is Hellfire 1 torch mod in DD2 supposed to be Russian roulette? Okay, what? This is a mod? I don't care about this. Opinions on Darkest Dungeon 2. Huge fan of the first Darkest Dungeon, but after reading a bit about the sequel, I'm not sure if I'll like it as much. What are your opinions on the game and its similarities, differences from the first one? I don't really know a lot about the sequel, so please no spoilers. Great. It's early though. Don't expect a complete game. Looks great and I love the idea of manually driving the carriage. It's a completely different game, like fundamentally. Outside of the battle, there's almost nothing from the gameplay systems of DD1 that has made it to the sequel. The only exception is stress. But this works very differently than DD1. This is actually not true. Stress works almost the same as it does in DD1, it's just a different amount that you need. There's no state, there's no real meta progression that carries over between runs, except the moves you unlock and the items you get. You unlock new heroes at first, but you unlock them after the first few runs. It takes like 12 hours to get everyone, doesn't it? It takes a while. Pick 4 heroes, and those 4 heroes will be your party until you wipe or one dies, in which case they'll be replaced with a random character at the next inn, basically like camp for DD1, but there are no camp abilities, and you don't choose when to go to the inn. You visit it between every mission instead of the estate. Your party makes it through the end of Chapter 1, which is all that's playable right now. You lose them too. Okay, this is disingenuous. You don't lose them, you just start over. They don't die. I guess it's the same as them dying, but you don't lose, like, they don't just disappear from the game after that. Some stuff I wish I knew before buying I'm a huge DD1 fan. I found DD2 to be boring. Wasn't emotionally invested at any point. When I beat the final boss, I was just relieved the 4-hour run was over. Really sucks to use the same comp for that long. The art's amazing. Combat animations are so much better. Gameplay systems and design decisions are completely at odds with what you learned and loved in DD1. Not true. Gameplay is like a more refined version of DD1's combat. Not bad, but fundamentally different. If you're talking about like pinging tokens and stuff, yeah, it's a bit different, but it still focuses on like high tempo moves, like action efficiency, sniping high threat targets quickly. Like a lot of the stuff is still there, and then stalling where you can. A lot of the DD fundamentals still exist. Was least fun advanced enemy to fight? Virago. Virago with its massive freaking dodge, its prod, its stun immunity, its blight resist, its bleed resist, its debuff resist. That being said, Red Hook set the bar so high with not bad. That not bad is a crushing disappointment for myself and many others. Finished both games. Well, there's the second so far. The overall structure of the game is different, but not bad at all, just different. There's no situation in which you need to restart your entire campaign, and failing a run still results in rewards. My biggest problem with the game is that it clearly needs a lot of tweaking to the core mechanics. The stress system is ridiculous. The stress completely spirals out of control and ruins any run. You can basically beat the game by just buying laudanum whenever possible. You either have your entire party fall apart due to literally anything causing stress, or you prevent it with a single item and you keep buying it and beat the game. Neither outcome requires you to really think or have any kind of tactic. It's my biggest issue. You don't get rewarded by the system, and the challenge is more of just a mindless punishment. I'd say wait till the full game is released.